Recently, it's come to my attention that I've never reviewed Planet of the Apes. It might have been mentioned in other videos, definitely in my recent video of my top 50 favorite films, but I think it deserves a standalone video. This movie has evolved into such a big franchise, I worry that it distracts from the original, which would be a shame because it's one of the all-time best science fiction films, in my opinion. First time I saw it, I was about 15, and it was on TV. I didn't know anything about it, so it exceeded my expectations and left a lasting impression on me. I hope more people can have that same experience, but it might be harder today with all the hype. I think the less said, the better. Just see the movie if you haven't. The Blu-ray set is awesome. It contains the entire original series and a booklet. The only thing I don't like about it, it doesn't fit well on your DVD shelf. If you're not familiar with it, it's about a group of astronauts that go into a long sleep in space. They crash land on a planet that's inhabited by talking apes as the dominant species. In the original screenplay, written by Twilight Zone creator Rod Serling, the ape civilization was advanced. They had flying vehicles and things of that nature, but the budget for that would have been too high, so they made the civilization appear more primitive. The humans in their society are the animals. They don't speak and they're kept in cages. The final survivor from the space exploration is Taylor, played by Charlton Heston. Early on, his throat is wounded and he's unable to speak. My first time seeing this, I felt genuinely frustrated to see Taylor get treated so harshly and not being able to speak up for himself. This all builds to the moment, just as he's recaptured, his voice returns, and he blurts out the famous line, "Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape." When I was a teen, I somehow identified with this moment. I guess it reminded me of high school. Sometimes you feel like you're treated as just one of the herd and even get pushed around or bullied. So when Taylor spoke up, that made me feel like, wow, I should speak up too. And I did in the form of art. That's how I found my identity. But as an adult, this same moment resonates with me in a completely different way. Now I see it as a tale of prejudice. In the world of the movie, you have a race of humans and a race of apes. The apes mistreat the humans, probably as a retaliation to what the humans must have done to them before, and now you have a human reacting by calling him "you damn dirty ape." So it's an endless cycle of negativity. He finds a mate, Nova, played by the lovely Linda Harrison, and makes friends with the animal experts Dr. Zira, played by Kim Hunter, and Cornelius, played by Roddy McDowall, who's an archaeologist who has found evidence of apes having evolved from people, which is considered heresy by their leader, Dr. Zaius, who imposes very strict rules on the ape society. The existence of Taylor rocks the boat, so to say, and he's caught in the middle of a battle between the progressive and the anti-progressive. But there's so much more to it, and every time I see it, I observe something new. At the very least, it's a cool action movie with some fantastic ape makeup. It's impressive how much the actors are able to speak with all that makeup on. I mean, you have prosthetic mouths that have to withstand a lot of movement, and it still manages to look good. I'm amazed by how many different facial expressions they're able to get across under all that makeup. Obviously, there's a lot to say about this movie, but I also want to run through the rest of the series next week, so I'm going to have to wrap this up. But like I said, the less said, the better. Just see the movie. But last thing, I want to discuss the ending. So here's the thing. If you haven't seen the movie and you also don't know what happens, then you have a rare gift. You have the chance to be genuinely surprised. When I first saw it, it had an effect on me, and I'm not sure if many other people today have a chance to experience that. The final scene has been referenced and parodied countless times. The image of it is everywhere. It's hard to avoid, so my advice is to use some serious tunnel vision and take the most direct path to seeing the movie. Avoid looking at anything. Just get the movie to play in the quickest way possible. Don't watch the rest of my video. It will only spoil it and rob you of a once-in-a-lifetime chance. So stop here. Go watch the movie. That's my advice. So now let's talk about this ending. Taylor and Nova keep traveling along the beach until they come to a large object which towers over them. Taylor stops to gaze at it. Shocked and angered, he drops to the ground, screaming, condemning humanity for a terrible thing that they've done. Then the object is revealed as the remains of the Statue of Liberty. When I first saw this, I did not see this coming. I had to stop and think, wow, did I just see a double twist ending? Not only was he on Earth the whole time, but humanity destroyed themselves. Wow. Just wow. Heston has to pull off two reactions. First, realizing that he's home, and second, being horrified at discovering the fate of humanity. As I said before, Rod Serling wrote the initial screenplay, and while many things were changed, the ending is definitely in his style and is just like something out of the Twilight Zone. In fact, it's very similar to the episode I Shot an Arrow into the Air, where astronauts get stranded on a planet only to find the planet is Earth. You can connect this to many other Twilight Zone episodes, all for different reasons. It seems Serling recycled some concepts, but also perfected them. This is like a feature-length Twilight Zone movie. There actually was a movie made after his death, but it was an anthology film made up of episodes which were mostly remakes of the classics. Planet of the Apes is a full story which captures the true spirit and tone of the show. Theoretically, if you cut the movie down to 20 minutes, turned it black and white, and added a Rod Serling narration, you would have the perfect final Twilight Zone episode. After you know the ending, I highly recommend seeing the film a second time. Usually having an awareness of how a film ends can ruin it or at least make subsequent viewings less significant, but with this, it actually makes the film even better. Dr. Zaius knows about the history of humanity and does everything in his power to cover it up. When he's identifying humans as savage animals, he's blatantly referring to a past war of some kind. The first time you watch it, it just seems like he has a prejudice against humans, but then you realize why. They practically destroyed the planet. So while Dr. Zaius is like the villain character of the movie, it's a bit more complicated than that. This film gives you so much to think about that it's easy to overlook some simple questions, certain things that never sat with me right. I've wondered, how did the Statue of Liberty end up alongside a rocky cliff? This area doesn't fit at all into the real-life geography, but it's fun to use imagination and try to figure it out. Maybe it's possible the statue was moved there for some reason or even dumped deliberately to hide the evidence. Or maybe as a result of nuclear war, the Earth changed, the water dried up, and what we're looking at is the bottom of the bay. It does raise some legit questions. Why didn't Taylor figure out already he was on Earth? Did he ever see the moon at night? Was the moon destroyed? Did that cause the geographical transformations of the Earth? Did he ever question why the apes speak English? These questions or potential flaws don't come to mind as easily because the movie is so good it distracts you from all that. No movie is without its flaws, no magic trick is without its fakery. It's all about how well you distract from it. The image of the statue says so much on its own without any of these details. You don't have to know how it got there or what exactly happened. You just see it and you understand. It's a symbol of a crumbled civilization that began with optimism and hope. This scene is so great, it's no wonder why everyone spoiled it. In the internet age, it's impossible to avoid, so you gotta go back to simpler times, back when VHS was all there was. Back then, you wouldn't know the ending. Nobody would spoil it for you. It wasn't plastered all over everything, not on a website or a book cover or a DVD or a... Oh no. You finally did it! You maniacs! You spoiled it! What next? You gonna spoil Citizen Kane, Empire Strikes Back, Sixth Sense, Psycho, Fight Club? You fucked it up! Damn you! Damn you all to hell!